Hi, welcome back to Let's Get Real. I'm Jessica White, owner of Enact Wellness Solutions. Real people, real stories, real lives changed. So this week we're going to talk about being bored with your food. We all can relate to that, and I hear it on a daily basis. People come into me and they say, okay, so I'm eating healthy, but I'm really bored with my food. What else can I do? What else can I eat? So remember the phrase that you hear all the time? You need to eat to live, not live to eat. Go back to that phrase. It's very, very true, but we don't live by it at all. Our whole society and culture revolves around food, and our emotional security revolves around food. So we have to get away from that, and we have to separate ourselves from this emotional eating issue that we have. So most people relate emotional eating to trigger foods like, oh, I had a bad day, I need to eat a pint of ice cream at night before I go to bed, or my boyfriend broke up with me, it's the worst day ever, I need to make a whole cake and eat it by myself. Yes, that's emotional eating, but it's also emotional eating when you're bored with your food and then you try to cure that boredom with your food. So we need to think about how our body feels when we actually eat the food physically. We never do that. Even if you have to write it in a notebook or program it in your phone, think about how you are physically feeling about 15 minutes after you eat. Do you feel more alert? Do you feel like you can go back to work and focus better than you did when you were hungry? Do you feel satisfied? Do you feel overfull? Do you feel like you can go for a workout in an hour or so? Think about how you're feeling, and you'll notice that you're not having the afternoon crashes like you typically do when you eat lunch, which is probably because of what you're eating. Don't always think about how you're feeling emotionally, because we've created those feelings in our head, and bad foods can reward us emotionally. It's a temporary thing, but sometimes eating a bunch of sugar makes you feel really good for about 10 minutes, and then you have that crash. So we have to separate this emotional eating issue. So on top of that, we need to separate what our life is like when we celebrate with food. That's okay. Celebrate with food. Have celebrations. The problem is we expect to celebrate every single meal that we have. Every meal we have is like Thanksgiving dinner, or it's our birthday dinner, something like that. We want to have dessert every night. How many people have dessert every single night after dinner? Because it's not a special situation anymore. It's not a special circumstance that we eat these things for. We expect fireworks to go off in our mouth every single time we eat. This is a really hard thing to get out of, but the only way to get out of it is just to eat. Eat healthy food, even if it's bland. Just eat it and start thinking about how you're feeling physically, and you'll eventually start thinking different in your head, and you won't even think about, wow, I'm really bored with this. That won't even come to mind. They'll start to be, okay, I'm hungry, I eat, I feel good. And the next time I'm hungry, I eat, I feel good. And you want that rhythm to start popping up in your head. Being bored with your food will never really happen unless you're just having a bad day and those emotions creep back up. And then you just have to rein it in and stay in control. So that's the big issue. Remember your why, stick with it. So next week, we are going to talk about being comfortable in your own skin. It has nothing to do with your size, what you weigh. It is an emotional issue. So we're going to talk more about that next week. In the meantime, you can visit us on our website, enactwellness.com, Facebook, Enact Wellness Solutions, or come see us here in St. Charles. Come ask me questions, get to know me a little bit. Have a great week.